baby daddy. I mean, he is a baby daddy. No, single dad. I just feel like this video is going to be a shit show. I don't know. Anyway. Hi there, welcome or welcome back. My name is Ashley and reading is my escape. This video is going to go through the books that I read in the month of February, and most of the books were part of a reading challenge, which I'll get into in a minute. And I believe I'll have some time at the end to put my March TBR. I am not really going to go too in depth with the books and the plot and a lot of the details, mainly because I'm not good at that yet. So I will pretty much just show the book, tell you what I rated it, maybe mention the character names if it's part of a series and if there's any other little tidbits, but I'm not going to go too in depth with each book, and hopefully that will leave time for the TBR at the end. For the month of February, I mentioned in my last video that each month I'm doing a reading challenge, and this month was Reading the Rainbow. Reading the Rainbow. For me, the way I interpreted this challenge was to take the colors of the rainbow. I did 6. I did red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, violet, whatever you want to call it. Chose a book with the cover mainly in the color of that color of the rainbow. Starting with red, I indeed did read God of Malice, the first book of the Legacy of God series by Rena Kent. In this book, you are introduced to the infamous Killian Carson, who a lot of people love and a lot of people hate. Like I said in my last video, dark romance, it's not for everyone. I'm diving into it still. It's definitely not my favorite genre. I'm not going to be like, this dark romance is not going to be taking over my TBR every month, but I have read a couple other books by her, and I think this series, the Legacy of God series, is one of the most talked about series by Rena Kent, so I just wanted to see what it was about. I did enjoy it. I did rate this book 4 stars. Sorry, my cat is over there jumping on the counter. Don't be getting into trouble. Please don't. I enjoyed it. It sets up for the whole, I don't know if I'd call it found family, but definitely introduces you to a handful of characters that will be in the rest of the books, and I will be continuing the series. And that being said, this is red, 4 star, God of Malice, Rena Kent. Moving on. Orange. Now, completely changing, and I read these in order. I did read them in order by color. I will say that. So, moving forward to orange, we have not dark romance, but romance. We have Caught Up by Liz Tom-Forty. I'm still continuing my journey through the Windy City series, and every book, as I've read it, I've liked the book and the MMC and the FMC more and more each book. So, 5 stars. 5 stars. I don't remember if I gave the other 2 books before this 5 star. I would have to look back, but 5 stars. Kai and Miller. Kai, baby daddy. I mean, he is a baby daddy. No, single dad. She is the coach's daughter, and she agrees to be his nanny. Again, pretty self-explanatory what happens. But what I loved most about this is Miller, her character, her appearance, her just whole, not attitude, personality. She is a badass. She's tattooed. She has a septum piercing. I don't know why. I get the tattooed because a lot of like a lot of male characters are like the tattooed, dark, like muscular, tattooed men, but females have tattoos too. I love me a nice tattooed female, I don't know, and piercings. I mean, come on. I don't know if I've ever read a book, maybe one or two, again, where the male character has ear piercings, nose piercings, whatever. Like, why? Piercings, piercings. I mean, it's just little things like this. I've appreciated so far just within the 3 books of this series so far, Liz Humforty really has had a wide range of female characters as far as appearance and personalities too. And I don't know. I don't like reading this again, the same old like slim blonde or brunette, long hair, whatever. Like, I don't know. Give me some different ethnicities. Give me some different, like, again, tattoos, like mouthy, like just I don't know. So I loved Miller. I think that's why. I loved Kai too, but I really think that's what brought it up because of her character and just her being just a little bit different from a lot of your typical like weak and depressing, sad, meek, scared female characters. I don't know. Like, that's not true, but I feel like a lot of books lately that I've read. Anyway, I'm rambling. 5 stars, orange. Yellow is the only book within this challenge that was not a romance, and that was Golden Sun, the second book in the Red Rising trilogy, series, whatever you want to call it. Love this. 5 stars. And mainly, if you've read this, 5 stars for like literally the last 10 pages. I mean, maybe it was more than that. I read this on my Kindle for the most part, and I did have the graphic audio, so I can't tell you if it literally was the last 10 pages, but the last page, literally the last page sold me. This, my jaw, take it, throw it on the floor. That's what, I mean, I will say that this still was a little bit hard for me to digest because it is different from, this is probably the closest to like a high fantasy or just like a sci-fi. I'm still new to reading, still new to genres, but this by far is probably like the most out of my typical reading genre comfort zone. Red Rising, I did have, again, I listened to that one. I had a hard time keeping up with the characters and like really getting a good idea of the world and the whole like societal system. I took notes. I tried to highlight and tab that book. I mean, it all comes together at the end. It's just in the beginning and a little bit throughout the middle, I was like, what's the hype all about? Like, I like this, but I don't know if I love it. So then starting this book, I slowed down the audio. I tried to immersive read as much as I could so I could really focus on what was going on and pay more attention. And again, I was like, okay, where is this going? You know, every now and then there'd be a part where I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. But yeah, it's totally the ending. That's it. Again, if you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read it, read them. I feel like it's one of those where everyone should just give it a try. You never know. 5 stars. Give it a try if you haven't. I recommend it. Green. You may look at this cover and be like, that's not green. But I didn't really have a lot of green books on my shelves. And the whole point is for me to not go out and buy new books every month. So this was the closest I had to green. And that is Taming 7. I mean, green. And I don't know, the majority is green. So we're going with green, okay? Green, teal, whatever. It's almost rainbow-esque. So I know a lot of people were disappointed when this came out at the time it came out. Finding 13 and Keeping 13 are still at my top if I had to rank this series so far. Johnny and Shannon are still at the top for me. I love them. I really don't know if anyone will surpass them. Their story, her background and her trauma, I don't know. I loved it. I took a little bit of a break and then I read Saving Six and Redeeming Six. I'm so bad at this. Here's the thing. Joey and Evie, I didn't connect with them as much. So they're probably next on, I probably still like their story and their books are probably just a touch higher than this one on my ranking. But this, I did not dislike. The prologue, literally the prologue had me sobbing when they were kids. And it's the story of what happened to his sister and his father. And you're hearing it from like a 5-year-old's perspective. I was sobbing. And there were even a few other times in this book that Gibbsy, like I don't know. I really hope there's going to be another book with Gibbsy and Claire to finish, going forward now that basically all that came out in this book kind of just ended without a lot of resolution. So, but I honestly, I will say Claire was annoying. Claire, I understand every book there's at least so far, there's a character who has had a shit ton of trauma and then the other character has had like the perfect upbringing. Look at Shannon and Johnny and then like Joey and Evie. But like Claire, I know they're teenagers. I know they're still in school. Like, but there were times where I just wanted to be like, girl. Ugh. Anyway, but Gibbsy, I love him. I loved him. I kind of figured that that's why he was the way he was in the other books, why he was so goofy and humorous, because he was hiding something from his past and some trauma. And obviously this explains why. But I gave it a 4-star. I really liked it. I'm hoping, like I said, that there's another book, but I know the next book with Lizzie and Huey, that's just, I'm not going to be able to talk to anyone after that one. Anyway, 4-star, green, blue. This book was a debut book for a debut author, which I guess if you have a debut book, you are a debut author. But anyway, I have been following this author since I randomly saw a post on Instagram months ago. She had just a little teaser of the book she was coming out with and some of like the bullet points and the tropes. I immediately followed her. I've been following along all of her posts. I pre-ordered the book and I had the opportunity to receive an e-arc from Love Notes PR. I loved this book. So the book I'm talking about, as I'm not showing it, is Endgame. And this is by Willa Gray. Like I said, new author, new book. I believe right now this is just a standalone. He's a hockey player. She's a nurse. She's moving to a new city. She just came out of a relationship. She's just looking for kind of a one-night stand, but at the same time, she's looking for a buddy. And she runs into the MMC at a bar, and he walks her home. And she basically propositions him in her kitchen and is like, listen, I don't want a relationship, but this is what I want. I want to relearn things. I want to get better with intimacy and stuff like that. He falls. The second he saw her walk into the bar, not even knowing her name, who she is, where she came from, he fell. He fell hard, and he is the greenest of green flags I've ever read. And loved it. Loved it. I almost forgot his name for a second. The MMC is Matt Anderson, and she's Ellie. So anyway, as you can tell, not only is it just that like relationship where like she wants to just be friends and fuck buddies, but he wants a serious relationship. But she's gone through, there are several traumatic topics. There are some things that has happened to the FMC in her past, and actually a couple of things that do happen to her in the book present that could be very triggering for some people, so check that out. It's 4.5 stars for a debut, for like this author's first book. This was so good, at least to me. And maybe at the time, coming off of something so, dark and traumatic-ish like this is what I needed. So anyway, check it out, please. I always love, supporting indie authors, new authors, debut books. So please check this out, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as well. And that brings us to Violet or Purple. Play along. Another Liz Humforty in the next book in the Windy City series. And like I said about the last one, every single book I've read, I've liked more than the last. This now is my top book out of that series. Isaiah. Again, he fell hard. He even fell when he knew that the FMC Kennedy was engaged at the time when he first met her. And you know what? He was going to wait around forever if he had to. And just, oh my God. I don't know what to say. I love this. I love him. He's now my top out of this series. Basically, what happens is they were in Vegas, as you can see, and there's some wedding rings, and they got married. So this isn't fake dating, and it's not even fake marriage. Like, it's a legit Vegas wedding, legal marriage. So and that happens right at the beginning of the book, so that's not a spoiler. So then they have to figure out what they're going to do, and they decide to keep the marriage on for a while for certain reasons. And he obviously is like, okay, this is what I wanted, and I'm going to win her over. And she the whole time is just like, I'm only in this for this reason, and once the time frame is up, I'm gone. So it goes from there. I don't know what else to say. 5 stars if I didn't say it already. There's all 6 of them again of Reading the Rainbow. And I don't know. It was fun. Has anyone else ever done something similar where they've I know a lot of people have TBR jars where some of the prompts are read a book with a purple cover, read a book with a blue cover, but I don't know. I was searching online one day for reading challenges, and this came up, and I thought this was a good way to get a decent chunk, 6 or 7 books out of your TBR if you're looking for something fun to do. And yeah, so real quick before I jump into my March TBR/challenge, there was one other book I read in February that was an arc by probably one of my all-time, my favorite author. And that author is Chelsea Kierto. And if you follow her, you know that she's coming out with a new book. I was lucky enough to receive an e-arc copy of her newest book that's coming out. And that is In Stormy Weather, which is a romance between 2 meteorologists. Now, I am a geeky person. My full-time job is in the medical field. I've always loved science, math. I love weather, even though didn't go to school for it, but I actually worked with somebody One of my coworkers had a meteorology degree, so we talk about scientific stuff at work a lot, and I learn things about weather that I didn't really know much about. But anyway, I'm all about it. I'm all about STEM. I'm all about women in science, women just in general, just women having professions that mostly men dominate. So that's touched on a lot in this book. Our FMC, she's very smart, went to school, has a doctorate, PhD. The MMC is actually somebody that she's known, or they've known each other since high school. And again, he falls first. He has loved her, liked her, fallen for her ever since they were kids. Well, not kids, but like in high school. And again, he's kind of a jokester. He always kind of like not made fun of her, but just like made jokes with her and always tried to like beat her on tests. And the reason he went into meteorology was because of her, but nobody knows that. So they went to college, they went to the same college, they were always competing. He never really told her how he felt. And then lo and behold, later on in life, they come together again for certain reasons and bump into each other and kind of not really have to work together, but it's during hurricane season. They're in Florida, and so they keep running into each other. This was so different from a lot of other romances where if you just kind of like look at what professions, you know, you have your sports romances, then you have your small town where a lot of times it's like bakery and flower shops and bed and breakfasts, and then you have like your Western romance, which I've never read, like a cowboy Western romance, so I have no idea what those are about. But I don't know, this was so different, just their professions and just a lot of the terminology and the scientific talk, and just her being a woman in a male-dominated profession, which there's some things that happen, which actually similar things happen in Play Along, where Kennedy, the FMC in here, is a female doctor in sports medicine and basically interviews for a job, and the head doctor realizes she's a female and pretty much demotes her to be like an athletic trainer. And anyway, so again, like smart, strong female doctor, like anyway. This comes out July 14th. Please, if you've read anything else by Chelsea Kirto, you know the spice, you know some of like the angst and the yearning and the whatever. But yes, please, totally different. If you're like a DC Stars fan, fanatic, like diehard, this is different, but it's still so good. And now I'm debating, or not debating, but I'm forgetting. I did give it 4 stars. Go read it when it comes out. July 14th, in stormy weather. I'm going to go through really quick now my March TBR. So this month, I am going to be finishing or catching up on a few series that I have started. So I have 3 series that I'm finishing and 2 that I'm catching up on. So I guess I will start with the ones that I'm finishing. So I am going, and I still have to take the sticker off of this, but I'm going to be finishing the Lightlark series. I have yet to read like the Aura and Grimm kind of, I don't know, is this considered a novella? To be completely honest, I liked Lightlark and Nightbane. I cannot even tell you what happened in Skyshade. I think what happened with Skyshade is I previously read soon before, like I had just picked up Lightlark and Nightbane not long before Skyshade came out. And I think it was one of those where as soon as Skyshade came out, I got the audio and I like blew through it. I don't even remember what happened. I don't. I'm going to have to find some cliff notes. I'm going to have to find like some YouTube reviews or somebody just kind of giving an overview because I don't remember. I know a lot of people kind of gave up and a lot of people are not going to finish and complete, but this is the last book. I've already read 3. I'm going to read these as well because according to Alex Astor, the author, that this kind of helps you. It might change your side, which everybody I know, including myself, is grim, but there are some oral people out there, and I don't know. That's the first series I will be finishing and completing. The next series that I will be finishing is, as you guessed it, the Windy City series. I planned on reading Rewind It Back next, but I know according to Liz Tom 40, she has a graphic on her Instagram page that she now suggests you read in her own league after you finish play along and then read this. So I haven't decided yet. I'm guessing it just has to do with the characters and the fact that play along and caught up are with the baseball team. And that's where you get introduced to Reese. And obviously in her own league, that's Monty, the coach, and Reese. And then this jumps back into hockey, right? Rio, he's on the hockey team. He's not baseball. I'm pretty sure he's hockey. One more series. Almost forgot about this one. So back on Chelsea Kierto. So this is the Loving Through the Lens series, I believe is what she calls it. This is Reed, who Reed is also in like the friend group of some of the hockey players from DC Stars. He is like the social media person for the Titans, which is the football team in DC. But then there is Avery, and I'm looking at the back. She is basically the social media person for a different city's team. And I'm thinking that this is maybe a he falls first. I don't know. Basically, the last sentence says that they know they aren't supposed to fall for each other. But let me just look really quick. Yeah, they must meet in person. And he like falls for her not knowing that she's this other team's social media person. And then he finds out. And anyway, so I don't know. It's the last book in this like camera Love Through the Lens series. So that'll get me caught up on those books. And that's that. So the next 2 books are me just catching up on a series for basically all the books that are out currently. And I'll just jump right into releasing 10. As I said, I just read Taming 7. I am going to read this. This is big. This is long. This is going to be hard. This is going to be rough. But it's got to be done because, like I said, she may or may not come out with some more books this year. So I don't want to get too far behind. And I just have to pull the Band-Aid. I have to do it. And I will say, and I know this is kind of maybe how everyone felt, but reading Taming 7, Lizzie. I know you learn about obviously why she's the way she is, but she is so mean. She's just, I get why has an anger and why she's so mean to Gibbsy. What really bugged me so much was how mean and cruel she was to Claire and Shannon some of the times, but not as much. I don't know. That really hurt me because I don't know. But I get it. It's the age. It's the school setting. It's clearly her trauma and her mental state that she's in with certain things she's going through. And we'll learn about that in this. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to read this all at once. I'm thankful that I have 2 fluffy romance-ish type things to kind of put in between before and after this, but we shall see. We shall update at the end of the month how I'm feeling after reading this, because it's time. Anyway, the last book, which is actually what I'm reading right now, I'm going to just put it out there that I started. This is the first series when I got back into reading about 4 years ago now, like 3.5, 4 years ago, when I decided one day I'm going to pick up a book and I'm going to start reading again and see where it goes. And to be honest, this was kind of one of the first, or if definitely the first, like fantasy romance. And this is what got me back into reading. That series, ACOTAR, specifically A Court of Silver Flames. I have not read this yet. Like I said, I read the first 3 books about 4 years ago. Not back to back to back, but over a couple month span. I read the first 3 books, took a little bit of a break, and then read the 4th, the novella. I never picked up this book. And I blame it on the fact that after reading and starting this series, I found a love for fantasy romance I never knew existed. And I immediately just watched every YouTube video. I started following people. I started, like, it blew up. I had so many books that I wanted to read, and I should have read this at the time, and I didn't. And I still have so many books I want to read. But again, there's talk that there's going to be more books coming out soon. And I still have yet to read Throne of Glass and Crescent City, which Throne of Glass hopefully is done. Crescent City possibly still might have more books to it someday as well. I'm doing it. I'm finishing this. I'm going to get caught up. And that's what it is. And right now, I don't like Nesta. I don't. Just like Lizzie. I just want to jump in this book and smack her across the face. I know maybe by the end of this, my opinion will change. But I know there's like Team Farah and Team Nesta. I don't like Nesta. I don't like her right now. She's being such a brat. She's like, I get it. You are a human. You didn't choose to be turned into Fae, and you went through some shit and whatever. But, like, suck it up and get your shit together and just deal with it and move on. I mean, I'm not very far. I'm only like 25%. I'm only a quarter of the way in it. I didn't know how easy it would be for me to get back into this with reading the other one so long ago. And actually, I will say that this did do a good job kind of flashbacking a few main points and stuff. And I really haven't had a hard time kind of remembering some of the character names and some of the stuff that happened. So that's it. That was my February reading wrap up and my March TBR. Thank you for watching. If you could, like and subscribe. Or not. But I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.